Welcome to the Irish NFL Show, and welcome to Lorenzo Neal, who joins us at Radio Row. Lorenzo, pleasure to have you with us. Really wanted to talk to you about your former teammate, Drew Brees. Great to see him inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I know you played a pretty vital role in the early stages of his career back when he was with the Chargers.
Yes, Drew's an awesome person. He's a unbelievable Hall of Fame player, but he's a Hall of Fame man. Great individual, great person, loved guy. Loved playing with him with the Chargers. I mean, he's just a stand-up guy. What he's meant for the organization, the Chargers organization, what he meant for the Saints organization, and just who he is as a person is just unbelievable.
When you think about the Drew Brees that we know as a first ballot Hall of Famer, I was amazed that he's the first ballot Hall of Famer in the Saints franchise history, and who better for it to be than Drew. But you know, the development of his career as a quarterback, I mean, it wasn't always smooth, and we see the Drew that he is now and the Drew that he was with the Saints and on that Super Bowl run. Oh, that wasn't always the way it was. I know you were there in the early stages, but what was it like when he came into the league?
Yeah, you know, with Drew, it's interesting because you got to look at the Saints. I've started with the Saints, and I've seen that organization. We couldn't win, and Drew and Sean Payton did a heck of a job, and he was able to win a Super Bowl, and that organization hasn't seen one since. So it goes to show you that here's a guy who transcended, came in with the belief that he could win a Super Bowl, with the belief in getting everyone else on board, and him and Sean Payton did a hell of a job. I remember playing with the Chargers, and Drew already had been in the league, and I came like his second or third year, and he, you know, we struggled the year before, and that following year the team drafted Phillip Rivers. And it was tough. Drew kept working. He was a starter, but you know how it is. You draft someone in the first round, you're there to replace him. And I remember we started off a little bumpy, started off, I think, 1-3, and we're playing against Chicago Bears. And Marty Schottenheimer loved Drew, by the way, and Drew would tell you that. And Marty goes up to him and said, "Hey, we're going to give you one more series, and if not, you don't play well, we're going to put the kid in." Got the call from upstairs. AJ wanted to put him in. And I went and walked over to Drew and I said, "Hey, man, you're good enough. We believe you. Just leave. Let's go. We believe in you. Let's take off." Winning that game. He holds Phillip Rivers off that whole year. If he doesn't get hurt, they're probably going to trade Phillip instead of him. So after that, you're like, okay, cool. I didn't think of anything of it. 15 years later, if you read Drew's book, he talks about that particular moment in his career. So you just never know the things that you say, the impact that you have on people's life with the words that you use. And so I try to keep that to heart, and being able to know that I helped the Hall of Famer, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's a nice little part to have played in NFL history now, something that's really part of the league's legacy, right? It's a nice little calling card to have.
Yes, it is.
But I'm thinking about that in the context of the Super Bowl matchup we got on Sunday, and particularly how Sam Darnold's career has now ascended to a much greater height than where it started. We write off young quarterbacks very quickly, don't we? And you've seen that in your career as well with the guys you played with.
Yeah, Sam, especially when what happens to these young guys, you get Sam Darnold goes to Carolina and you say, okay, you're the first pick. You're supposed to be the savior, and you go take us resurrection. You go win us a Super Bowl. And it's unfair. It's unfair. It doesn't happen in corporate. It doesn't happen in any other position. It doesn't happen in linebacker position. It doesn't happen in a tackle position. You throw this guy in and you say, just go win. And all of a sudden you're thrusting this and you play bad like this. It's like, it's unfair, especially at the quarterback position when you have to not learn as a quarterback, but you got to learn what the tackle's doing. You got to know what the center is doing. You got to know what the line's doing. You got to know what the receivers are doing, what route they're running, and you got to know what the defense is doing. So it's kind of tough. And Sam is watching Sam in development. And, you know, Sam said one of his best thing he did is come back to the Niners. When he came here, he said he learned so much by Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, and he leaves here, goes to Minnesota and wins 14 games. This year he's in a Super Bowl. Those things don't happen if you don't have great leadership. And Sam is a guy who's been battled. Sam's a guy that's, you know, who's played well, and he's had some ups and downs, and he still does. Sam Darnold doesn't need to go out and win a Super Bowl Sunday. Sam Darnold needs to go manage a game. Sam Darnold doesn't have to play great, but he showed you he could play great. He played great against the Rams. But Sam Darnold has a good enough team around him that they can win football games if he doesn't play poor. So I think that's what he understands. And that's why I think his game is sometimes you put too much pressure on yourself instead of saying, let me just go play football because I got good enough people around me that's going to help me win football games. And I think that's the position he's in Sunday.
Lorenzo, looking at Sunday's game, I'd be really interested in getting your view from the backfield because whoever's going to win, and I know it's a great truism, they're going to have to run the ball well. You feel particularly New England with Stevenson and Travion Henderson, they're going to have to establish the run early.
Oh, no question. But I think that, you look at this and if you're in New England, you're everyone's saying, well, there's no Tom Brady. This is a second-year quarterback. They can't win this game. They played the AFC. They lost to the Raiders. Vrabel, I played against Vrabel many times. Me and Vrabel had some battles. I'd get him. He'd get me. I'd get him. And every time I would get him, he would come back and be mad. He would come out just fired up. These players are a reflection of him. Mike Vrabel, look at the receiver that, that left from Buffalo, that leaves and goes to Houston, Diggs. Look at how he's a leader because Vrabel has told him he's a leader. Look what Vrabel has done. He's instilled life in these players. These guys, look what they're playing, the way that they're playing because their coach has them playing. So if you're in New England, you're playing with a chip on your shoulder. If you're in New England, you're playing with house money. If you ask me what team would I rather be on, I'd rather be on New England because
Really?
I'd rather be because what I know that how people are viewing me, how I'm going to people don't believe you belong here, how I'm in the AFC and no one thinks that you belong to play against this team. Everyone's looking at this and saying, man, New England's if Buffalo would have played them, they would have beat them. If the snow blizzard didn't happen, if my man doesn't break his ankle, Denver's quarterback, they're not in this situation. You're Denver. I mean, if you're freaking the Patriots, you're sick and tired of this crap. So I think you're going to have a motivated team. I think you have a team that's going to come out and play. So I think this is going to be a way better game than what people think. But
as a player, does that give you a bit of extra juice? We love sitting here with the microphones to think that it does make an impact. But it's nice to know in the locker room that you guys are.
You think about those things. But the biggest advantage for me, why Seattle? Look, I believe offense counts as a third, defense counts as a third, special teams counts as a third, and that's where I think Seattle has a huge edge. Their special teams is great. They got a great punter. That's field position. You got a great pickoff returner. So special teams is going to be big. If New England's going to be in this game, they got to try to find a way to neutralize special teams.
What do you see looking across the league and the way the running game has evolved? We got some really exciting coaches. We got Ben Johnson, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan with all this creative outside zone stuff, a lot of window dressing, some really, really cool running plays being dialed up today. It will be fascinating to play in that era based on the type of football that you played in your era.
Oh, I love it. I'd love to because now you can move guys around and do certain things. Well, you always could, but now it's more prevalent. So I would have loved to play in it. I don't know if I would have played as well because I would use my head. My head was my moneymaker. So I was physical. The money, that's where I love. Slap guys' hands down and I would lead in with my head. So I don't know if I would have been able to make it in this thing. That's why I got a big head. I'm still swole.
We could have got your Guardian cap.
Exactly.
Maybe you'd still be able to go.
Exactly. Right. Absolutely.
Lorenzo, pleasure to have you on with us on the Irish NFL Show. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We really appreciate your time.
No worries. Cheers. Blessings.